As I told you all on the trainings, it was over 5 years ago. So it was 5 years ago, probably in I don't know, 20th of January sort of thing, that Jenny Grahek gave me the book, or told me to download this bloody PDF. And if you if anybody's in, like, I don't mind reading a book, but reading pages that is printed on both sides and that you have to turn over and stuff just wasn't the thing that I wanted to get into. And I said, "Can't I just like listen to this or something?" She's like, "No, it's not on Audible. You can watch a YouTube." So the YouTube went for 10 and a half hours. So I didn't sit there and just watch it all at once because I had to get started, and I had a full-time workplace in the business. So we would get out of bed normally and put on the Seven Sunrise. That's what used to be on. So we changed that. So understanding that you've got to trade something out. You've got to trade something that you do daily out and put something new in to get different results. And it has to be repetitive. You can't just do it once or twice and expect there to be a difference, because there is still so much momentum going on behind, like coming up behind you, sort of thing, of all the energy that you've put out there before, and all the thoughts that you've put out there before, and all the actions that you've taken before. So we can't expect things to happen straight away. And also, sorry, this is not the most comfiest chair. Also, the other thing is that we have looked at what we don't want in life. And a lot of us have spent mainly our lives there, a big chunk of our lives. Like, we've had an emotional impact, which is something that can sort of derail you off the path that you're on. And when we have an emotional impact, we start to look at all the things that we don't want. Like, when I think about me as a mum, I was doing all the things that I didn't want to do. I had turned into my mother practically, and I had sworn for like my whole growing up, I'm never going to have kids, so I'm not going to do mothering like my mother did. But I turned into her because she was my biggest role model. Like, before the time you're 6, your paradigm is created. So all the thoughts, beliefs, and habits of the people around you by the time you're 6 years of age are what have shaped you. It doesn't mean that you're stuck with it forever. It just means that now, where there's a bit of work to do to recreate yourself. And I hope this makes sense. So that's essentially what I had to do. I had to recreate Polly. So I had to get the version of Polly that I was then and say, okay, what is it in here that I want to make obsolete? What parts of Polly is not helping? So I knew the biggest thing that I had to do was stop drinking, because that was the crux of it. Like, I knew that my mum, when she drank, thought certain things about herself or used it to squash certain things down about herself. But because alcohol's a depressant, you give it a few hours or a few days or whatever is going on. It's used to just be like, by the third glass of wine with my mum, that all of that hatred of herself and the things, like the anger that she had of the person that she didn't want to be, came out and spewed out of her mouth. And the only way that she knew how to channel it was to blame. So, and nitpick, and that's exactly what I started doing. So my kids would be like walking home from school and just like, I don't even want to go home. And what is mum going to be like? And my husband came home several times at 5 o'clock and I was already off my face. And I had to take complete responsibility for this. It was not my children's problem. It was not my husband's problem. It was me. So the first thing that I changed was I took the alcohol out of my life. And I did that for it was over 18 months. It was just less than 2 years. So in that sort of gap there. And I knew I wasn't an alcoholic because it wasn't something that I craved and had to have. It was a tool that I used to shut the voices up in my head telling me how much of a shit person I'd become and how much of a shit mum I was and that. So, and I did a lot of work. I did a hell of a lot of work. So then now I can have a couple of drinks and I can stop. There's sometimes that I have a few more, and I understand that too. And sometimes you'll notice too, like when you go back to a behavior and you haven't quite, like in the beginning, sometimes there would be that outburst of Polly. It's like, oh, okay, took it too far. I need to really think about it. So, and what I did was then just keep writing the new version, just keep impressing that upon my subconscious mind, seeing that new version. So she would get out of bed, she'd be organized, she wouldn't be blaming people. She would like hold herself accountable and go, okay, I can say yes or no in these situations, and I do not need to say yes all the time. And no is a complete answer. I don't have to give excuses. And knowing that if I did say yes, I had to do it in a state of joy because I had chosen to. In my workplace, I was like, I'd drag my feet in there. I didn't even used to get dressed up. I never looked like this. And it wasn't until I'd released a bit of weight, because of course, when I was drinking and eating all the wrong things, I'd packed on 12 or so kilos. I'd started to look after myself and release some weight. And then I started dressing differently and seeing myself different and seeing myself as worthy. So all of these things had to take place. But it was some words that Bob Proctor said in this 10-hour seminar, and also my husband, because I'd had depression after our second child, and I didn't know it was depression. I just knew that I was just so angry. So I actually wrote a letter to the doctor, and Craig took me in. And then Craig spent 10 days at home with me. Now, Craig was somebody that came home, like he was a bit of a chauvinistic pig back then, and he would come home and he would expect dinner on the table and everything to be happy and joyful when he walked in the door. Like, I'm just the king that walked in here, everything should be perfect. Where I'm like relying on him to walk through the door. So it was like two different ideas and they didn't gel. Anyway, when he spent the 10 days home with me, he actually said, after about 3 or 4 days, he said, "I am so sorry." And I said, "Oh, what are you sorry for?" He said, "I'm so sorry that," shit, I didn't think I'd get teary in this. He said, "I'm so sorry that I told you that you weren't doing enough and you weren't doing a good enough job, because this is a really tough gig." And I only had 2 kids back then. So I had 2 in 15 months, and then the third one come along when the eldest one was 3.5. So, and I thought, oh my God, all this time I'd been beating up on myself. He just had no idea. And he had somebody in his life telling him that motherhood was a breeze and everything was cruisy. And we listen to our parents and we hear things. So just having that, like, I was like, oh, well, I don't need to take these tablets anymore. There's nothing wrong with me. Like, I was in a really good state then to give these things up and know that there was hope, because it wasn't just me making it up. So sometimes we make up stories that are not helpful for ourselves, and we start to play them out, and we make up stories in our head. So it's our stories that we have to change. Now, I've come into this business as a storyteller. I love telling stories and I love relating them back to things. Sometimes they go a little bit sidetracked, but we're getting better and better at this. And I'm not a pro. So I don't know what's happening here. This is my ex-stepdad's house. So just know you've got to start from somewhere. And the video that we're about to watch is all about that. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Just start now with what you've got. And even if you don't decide to have a mentor, or you're not here for that sort of purpose, still this will give you even more things to go off, because only you can change your life and only you can change what you think. But with the right guidance, whether that be from a YouTube, like a YouTube can give you so much guidance. TikTok sometimes can even give you so much guidance. A masterclass like you've just had can give you so much guidance. Just know that anything that you're seeking is also seeking you, and every opportunity is always in front of you. Sometimes though, we just have to take the blinkers off and look for what's really there. And the truth of you is abundance and perfection and love and joy. It just gets covered with a bit of dust and a bit of disbelief sometimes. So if we can just like blow the dust off a bit, there's the perfection of you in there. And I came into this business because I believe that the laws that govern the universe should be available to everybody. And it should be something that we are taught and that we can understand. Because if we understand the laws of the universe, and then we also understand ourselves and what governs us, and that our belief system is what creates our results, then we have such a better chance of making something of our lives, because we really weren't just made to be born, tiptoe through life and pay bills along the way and make it safely to death. We were here. Each one of us is here as a unique being, so that we can touch somebody else and help other people. So that's why I do this. Ask yourself, in your profession, whatever it is that you do, if you did not get paid for it, would you still turn up? would you still go? Or if you were going to do something, what really sets your heart on fire? What really makes you tick? And what impact do you want to make on the world? It doesn't have to be thousands of people. It could just be, I want to make the best impact on my kids, and I want to show my kids that they can be, do, and have anything that they want. And I want to help them create their own belief system so that they know that. Like, that was one of my goals as well. So just whatever it is, do it with, like, put some gung-ho behind it there and just go, I am not stopping until I get this done, because I know that there's going to be challenges, because the person that I am today doesn't have that belief system in my core. And until I do, the results aren't going to be there. So my work is to, like, just drench myself with as much as I can until that is part of me, like I know my name. And then the results will show. It will show when it's most natural to you. Anyway, so I'll show you this, I'll share my screen. Okay, share. Yes, all right. So, and this is how, like, this was like the time era that sort of Bob was in The Secret. So you can understand when I saw him, and when Jenny's saying he's doing the paradigm shift, I'm like, is this fella still alive? Because he was old then, I thought. So when I started working with Bob, I think he was like 80, 84, and in the 2.5 years, and then he turned 87 sort of thing, and then passed away. But like, I thought he was already gone. Anyway, that's a bit of a laugh that I have with some of the other people in my life. Anyway, let's listen to this. It only goes for a few minutes. I think it goes for 4 minutes, but if it doesn't, like, get you to jump out of your skin a bit, then we might have to find something else, but that's okay.
We are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers, free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. Takes guts. Takes goals. And you know something? You're sitting there watching this, and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you. Therefore, you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now. Yeah, you can see it. You can do it. The beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. You can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your step. Set so big it jazzes you, it really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? Home and dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind wakened the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous, man. For they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Did you get goosebumps? I do. I still get goosebumps when I listen to that man when he goes off on his stuff like that. It's just something about it. Now, with all my classes, those of you that are first timers here, welcome and thanks for joining us. Those of you that have been here for a while, you know how we start this. We always start with a win. So if you have a win, please raise your hand. If you don't know how to do that, there should be something at the bottom of your phone or computer that says something like that. Somebody and if you've got a really good computer, you just put it up and then it asks if you want to raise your hand. You just hold it there for a bit and then it does it for you. That works too. Okay, Lisa, what's your win?
Hello.
Hello.
I shared my win in our PIR chat, but I'll share it again because it's a pretty good one. I was driving through a roundabout, and as I drove through, a car gave way to me on my left, and just as I drove past the car, it had a whole bunch of pipes on the top of its roof, and they all slid forward and slid just behind my car. So it was perfect timing for my car to go through without being hit by any pipes. So
Yeah, good job. See, everything's always working out for you, isn't it?
it is.
Love it, love it. Cool, cool. Who else has got a win for us, please? Tina, you coming? Good stuff. Yes, no, I thought you moved your hand to take the audio, like unmute yourself.
How's that?
Beautiful, but we can't see your face. But anyway.
That's all right. I can't find the hand either. So I had a great win. I got my electricity bill and didn't have to pay a cent, and I've got another credit of about $600 still on it. So
Oh, good job.
mm,
They're always good, aren't they?
That's a nice win for me.
Yeah. If anybody else has a win, please raise your hand or just come off on mute and come and tell us. You know, I got a Telstra bill the other day and it was an $1,800 credit. And I was like, what the hell? How did I get that? Because my internet hasn't been up to speed back home. And I thought, how cool is that? And because I'd rung up a few times. Anyway, Sarah, come on in.
My win is that I didn't have to go to the leadership meeting today, which freed up another hour of my time, and time's very valuable to me. So I was very grateful.
Cool, cool. Good thinking to produce that. Awesome. Has anybody else got a win that they'd like to share with us? No. All right, now we know if you do, please just come on in. If you think about something, welcome, Katie. Now, this is a Q&A call. So if anybody has any questions, big or small, even if it's about something that you're going through in life or something that's in TIR or something like that, this is where we answer them. So is anybody here got a question about anything, especially clients? Because remember, this is your call too. What's in this chat? That was a big thing I had to change. Yes. Start now with what you've got. Nothing has to be perfect. All right. Surely you've got a question. Somebody has a question here somewhere. I'll just talk for a little bit until somebody does have a question. Is there anything that you'd like me to talk about? You can pop it in the chat or you can come on and tell us. Is there anybody here that's scared to talk on these things or scared to show their face? Is there something that brought up for you on the training that you said, can you please elaborate on this a bit more, please, Polly? Right. Well, I will just talk about thinking and actions because our thinking is what ultimately creates our actions. And as I said, hi, Polly, I'm sorry for being a little bit late coming. That's okay, Cheryl. Thanks for coming. So our thinking is so important. If I said to you, think about a pink elephant, you will actually get a picture on the screen of your mind of a pink elephant. You won't get a giraffe, you won't get a mouse, you will get the elephant. So because we think in pictures, we've got to really get that picture straight. So that's what the whole essence and the whole thing about the vision board was about. So knowing that and understanding that the picture that I project out to the universe is what is going to alter and how I feel about that picture. So you can put a picture out there and you can feel really crappy about it. Like, so if you think about me, and I'll just from the story that I shared, the picture I had of me was of somebody that, because I didn't speak to my mum for 15 years. So it was of a picture of me that my kids didn't class me as their friends. They didn't speak to me, that they just despised who I was. They were embarrassed to say that this was my mum because most of the time she was drunk at events. And I want you to understand how this creates actions. Like, so this was my thinkings, right? So, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I did not have the best time when my kids were younger. When they were really little, yeah. And then there was this time where something just inside me clicked. And I think it was about the same time it probably clicked in my mum. Because like I got taught by her by watching, because we are creatures that watch and learn. And I think if the school system really understood this, like we watch and learn, we don't just listen and do as I say, we watch. And that's how we learn. So that's what we do. So when Ryan was still in a pram, so he was probably, I don't know, 15 months maybe, or 12 months, he was still small. And there was a blue light disco at the Casuarina Street Primary School behind our house. Now, I'd already been drinking. And then the kids come home and the neighbours come over and they said, Polly, there's a blue light disco. We're taking the kids over. My kids, oh, can I come too? And of course, I'm all chatty. I'm like, I'm coming too. I actually took a drink over there. And then when I got there, one of the ladies at the front counter said, oh, have you got a drink? I said, yeah. She said, oh, I wish I could have one. I said, I'll go and make you one. I made her one and brought it over back to her. And she dobbed me in. So I got the principal come over and tell me off. But, and of course, so I created that with the picture, right? So I didn't want my kids to be embarrassed about me. I didn't want to be the thing that I wanted, but I created it because I had the picture of what I didn't want. And I played out that picture. So this is why our picture is so important. Whatever picture you are coming from, you will play the part of that. So the picture is really important. And then you have to get the story correct. Is it going to be like most people's paradigm and most people's thinking is that it's a really hard slog to be successful. And like there's 2 steps forwards, 3 steps back, or there's like only the people that rip you off create wealth and nobody really cares about me. All they care about is money. Like these are some of the things that I had in my part of my paradigm that of course was blocking the things that I wanted to come in. That my husband doesn't support me and he doesn't believe me and these sorts of things. Like this is like the whole crux of it. So these are the things that I had to do. Okay, like, well, if I keep that belief that my husband doesn't support me, he's never going to support me. And we're going to be in this argument for the rest of our lives. So then I had to just start writing. And how do you change your paradigm? It's one belief or one habit at a time. Beliefs are a habit. You think about it, the thoughts that you think, 90% of them are the same thoughts that you had yesterday. So if you have a thought today, unless it's something that you're originating, like a new thought pattern, you're like, oh, okay, this feels really good. Chances are you've already thought it. How many days in a row? Who knows? How many weeks in a row? Who knows? But it's had repetition and it has ingrained itself into your subconscious mind. So remember the picture. So the reason I'm saying this part of my head, the round circle is your head cut in half, conscious, subconscious. Paradigm is in this part of my mind here. So it's in the bottom half. And this is just who I am. And I can sit there sometimes and do some tapping, like get that thought out, get that thought out, get that thought out. That's a good technique that you can all use too. You can look up thought field therapy, which is a great thing. There's also EFT, emotional field therapy, or whatever it is, something like that. But you can tap and remove things. The same thing with Ho'oponopono. So it's a lot of work. I understand that. But what's the alternative? That we stay the same way? That we, like in 5 years' time, I would have still been, if I look at 5 years ago, the person I was there and the things that we were doing, there is no way in hell that version of Polly could have could own a Porsche, could go on a cruise, could have her kids be in her friends, could have gone through the things that we've gone through. Like we've just lost 300,000 in a deal, and that Polly 3 years ago, she would have just lost her shit. She would have been a mess and blaming and all that. And it's just, no, we take responsibility. I'm a co-creator here. So there must be something in me for that to happen. There must be some sense of loss. There must be some belief that I can lose things. So there's some more work that I have to do. But just knowing that this work actually really saves me. And the work that I've done in the past saves me every day from going down that depths of despair and being the person that drinks their worries away, because you never drink them away. All you do is squash them down, and then they have to erupt and come out at some stage, which is what people have these outbursts when they've had a bit too much to drink, and then the next day they're sorry for themselves, and then we apologize and we undo everything that we've done, and the kids, I don't know, anyway, it may be a bit too far there, but that's okay. But think about it, it's a whole picture. So when you get the picture of what you want, then you have to go, what's the picture of me? Who am I? How do I turn up? When the shit hits the fan, how do I speak to people around me? Do I blame? Do I look for some place to blame, or do I go within and go, okay, what's in me? Because nothing can turn up here outside, turning up in my field for me to see and for me to experience without it being a part of me. So I know the work is always internal, and I'll never get it done, and I'll never get it wrong, as long as I have a bigger picture than my life at this moment that I'm working towards. Because if I don't have a bigger picture that takes me out of that realm of thinking, out of that tone of thinking, that vibration of thinking, if I'm not got something bigger there that I have to create a new version of myself and start to work to step into that version, then I'm going to stay here and I'm going to keep getting this. And that's not what we're made for. It's like putting a plant in the ground and say, don't grow anymore, just stay that size. It's not what we're for. So has that brought up any questions in anybody? Or even a realization? Realizations are so great. And you guys, I know that some of you here have never been on a Zoom, and it could be pretty scary, or never been on a Zoom with us, and it could be a pretty scary experience. But you know, when you have a cognition that's like, oh my God, I've just joined some dots together, and you share it with somebody else, it comes out of your mouth and it vibrates out and it comes back and goes into your ears. And so you get that as at a more of an understanding level. And then if you make that like a realization, that you write it out or you say it each day, it actually becomes a belief. And, you know, and belief, you can just accept a new belief like that. It doesn't have to be something that you write out each day. The only times that I ever write out a belief is because I know that the one that's in there has got so much power and it's creating a whole lot of results that, no, this cannot be how I live anymore, and this cannot be a part of me. So I have to force the new one in there for a bit. But how do we do that? Through repetition. Repetition creates emotion. And the more emotion that I feel when I write something, the stronger and faster it goes into my subconscious mind. And then that creates my body to move. So like the person that turned up at the blue light disco, she had no self-confidence. She didn't dress well at all. She I just don't even know who that person is anymore, but she was so down on herself. And that was what her actions were, to drink to feel happy. And like, I know my thing was drinking. Yours could be self-talk, like really bad self-talk to yourself. And then, or it could be really simple beliefs that, like I was talking to one of you today, and just being able to tell a story. And Jess, it was you. So we're just talking and, you know, talking and then just telling things that's what's going on. And then you can just go, oh, there's a connection. that is what's happening over here because that's your same belief that's over here. And when you can draw the lines, you then straight away, you know the action. You know the action that you have to take because you're like, oh, that's a no-brainer. Okay. But sometimes we don't see it for ourselves. Now, does anybody have anything that has popped up for them that they'd like to share with us? Hi, Shay. Great to see you. Hello. Hello. Hi. We can't hear you, so if you were talking, that's okay. Cool. Carol, were you coming on to say anything? No? Now, I haven't had this many crickets here before. Cheep, 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 cheep. Okay. That's all right. I can keep talking. You've probably noticed that about me. I can't look at my clock there. Okay. So we've got like half an hour to go. You want me to keep talking? All right. So having your vision is so important, and having your goal is really important. The next most important thing is, why do you want that? Why is that important to you? Because if you don't have your why, when the time gets really tough, and I notice a lot of this in WildFit, and I notice this in Think Into Results as well, when the time gets tough and you haven't got your why sorted, you will give up. So your why has to be bigger than who you are right now. And your why has to be your purpose. Why am I doing this? This is my purpose. This is what I want in my life. This is how I want my life to be. Like, really think about these types of things. What is your why? And you can go on YouTube. There's a little thing that you can do. It's the 7 whys or something like that. 7 questions of why. And it just gets you deeper and deeper. Like you might have a goal of, okay, I want to buy a new house. And you're okay, so why do you want a new house? Because the house that I've got is 50,000 years old, or 50 years old, and there's so many things falling apart and it's costing me more money. So why is it important to you that you don't spend money on this house? Because you know what? I just want to be able to go into my kitchen and get things done and not have to worry about this. Okay, why is that important to you? Because I'd much rather spend the bloody time with my kids, all right? Like, you can start to get a little bit aggravated because that why can sort of, there's that paradigm that doesn't want you to get to the crux of it, because it knows when you get to the crux of it that you're going to leave that one behind and you're not going to be that person anymore. And you're like, well, I want to spend more time with my kids. Well, why is that important to you? Because I didn't have kids just to let them sit there on the ground while I'm going off and doing all this stuff to this house. Okay, so why is it important to you really to spend more time with your kids? Because I love them and I want to have friendships with them and I want to watch them grow, and I want to teach them all the things that I know and maybe even more, and I want to learn from them, because we can learn so much from kids, because kids know how imagination works. And Sarah, you know this as a school teacher. Kids know imagination works, that they just come up with an idea and then they just take action straight away. So like, doesn't that put a fire in your belly to like that why, rather than, okay, I just want to buy a house? Like, that is what's going to get you through. So really getting into your why and knowing, what are you doing this for? What is the purpose of doing certain things? And because some things are going to be tough. It may be that, like, if yours is an online business like mine, there are phone calls that you have to make to people. There are times that you have to text people or do a training and do these things. And maybe sometimes people don't even show up, but you still show up because it's why you're there. Like, I'm coming to you, Sarah. The first training I ever did, this was funny. Like, my why is to help change the world and really help people, because I know how much this work helped me. And I've turned so many things around, and I continue to turn so many things around. And now it's just to really get this out there more and more. So that, like, asking people, can you please share my thing on your page? And can you invite 10 friends? Hello. Is a huge ask for me, because there's a part of my self-image that's like, we shouldn't be asking people to do things like that. But the thing behind it is that people want to share this because it changes their life too. But And if we make this more easily and readily accessible to everybody, then like I've seen people have OCD tendencies and it's gone just from doing one of my trainings. Never signed up for thinking, oh, she did later on, but never did think into results in that time. Other people have given up smoking because they understood why they think and why they did these things and what they were doing it for. Other people that have stopped drinking. There's just so many things. People that have fixed their marriages and then got the things that they want because they understand themselves a bit more. And we are not taught how to understand ourselves. We are taught to memorize this, do this test and see how good your memory is. And then we're graded on how good our memory is. And, you know, if you're having a really bad day, and I know this because I had a bit of a violent thing at home when I was a kid. So some nights you couldn't sleep that much. Or you were sitting at the dinner table in tears doing your homework. And so the next day you're in a test and all you can think about is what went on last night, and you're doing this test and you're still a bit upset, and then you flunk the test and they're saying that there's something wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with you because I think I'm quite intelligent. But that day it was a shit day. So, but we get judged on just that moment. And if we can start to look deeper into why people do certain things and why did it turn out that way, and ask that why question of ourselves as well, it's a huge thing. I was telling the story about something else, but anyway, it went away. Sarah, come on in.
I was just going to add about the joy it is to see people use their creativity and playfulness, and they feel it's okay to do that when they step into the preschool space. But as adults, I think we get so task orientated that we forget to dream, we forget what our fun is. We're so busy doing stuff. And when TIR brought that back to me is because I can follow my dreams. I can get what I want. And the playfulness, even every single day, we have to kick the parents out because they want to play with all the kids' toys. And I just think that it's so good that, you know, we said, oh, you know, like there's only 6 spots here, you know, parents, can you like just get up off the Play-Doh so that the kids can sit down. But yeah, it's just nice that it's like TIR is another area where you can express your creativity and you're allowed to dream again. You're allowed to live your life, and we shouldn't be letting other people and other institutions run that for us. And that was the little aha moment I had. So I just thought I'd comment on that.
Thank you. That was good. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't quite finish that story on the training, did I? I watched one of them back and I thought I didn't quite think, because Sarah did that live and she said Polly was just so confident that she could help me get what I wanted. And I said, and I wanted to say it because I know it's where you put your focus, and I know it's changing a paradigm. All you have to do is change the paradigm that is driving you to act, and you can have anything that you want. But we've got to figure out what it is that we're doing now, and then look at, okay, what would I change that to if I already had it? Now, this is where a lot of people sort of meet a bit of shipwreck too. And because I'm coaching a couple of kids at the moment, and I say, well, what would you do if you already had what you want? And they like, I'd be doing what I'm doing now. And I said, would you really though? Like, they're talking about like getting a YouTube thing started and having all these followers and stuff. I said, would you really just be sitting here like this now? Or would you be sitting there creating ideas of what your next YouTube's going to be and what the next couple of weeks is going to be, and maybe looking for sites, and maybe you'd be driving around trying to find things? Oh, well, yeah, I never thought about it like that, but I just thought we'd be having fun. I said, yeah, the feeling's great, but you've got to come up with like, what would I be doing in that moment? What are the things that would take up my, like, what are the daily activities? And I've got to start doing them now. And I said, so if I was you, I'd be starting to drive around and look for some locations that you could do these things and start acting them out a little bit. Like, get some ideas into your mind and then like start playing them out a bit. So then because when it feels so natural, that's when it's going to turn up, and then the people that you need to help you grow it are going to turn up. So like, just really thinking about that, like we get a bit stuck in a box in the way that we think, and we're just like, okay, well, we've created money this way for 10 years, or we've created money this way for 50 years, so that's the only way that it can come to me. And we just go, hang on, get out of the box of that And if you income comes in on a Monday or a Thursday, or it comes from certain people, maybe you've got to just start to write a new script that about where you want the money to come from and how much of the money you want to come in and how easy you want it to be. Because if there is an exchange that is not like that, you don't like some people go to work each day, they hate going to work, they hate the job that they're in, they get paid on a Thursday, and they wonder why they're not moving up, because what they're doing to themselves each day and putting themselves through that misery of going to work and just going for the paycheck to put food on the table, yeah, doesn't feel good, is stopping them from moving up into the vibration of where they could be living. So I always teach people, like, let go of the how and just decide what you want. Decide with how easy you want it to be. There does have to be an exchange, and but it should be a joyful exchange. It should be something that motivates you. Like, you get out of the bed, like, I've got this to do today. This is amazing. I get to do this. And even if you still have to go to the place that you don't really like to go, it's I choose to and I get to. If we come from that grateful heart of I get to go to work today, because there's millions of people that don't have jobs. So when we change our mindset of where we go and what we do each day, it can actually change the way we look at ourselves. Like, and gratitude is one of the easiest things that we can use to get into that. And it can bring in anything that you want. Like, you just write something like as if you've already got it. You're telling your subconscious mind, go and create that, because we've already had it. So you're giving your subconscious mind orders. If you ask, I don't like, where's it going to come from? Then you're saying, like, the subconscious mind goes, I don't know, where do you want it to come from? You tell me. I just do what you tell me. Or else I'll just keep replaying this old record that's been playing. So we got to give it orders. The universe is waiting for orders, and it always says yes to whatever you are feeling. And it says, okay. Like, and you think about this, right? You could be in the shittiest mood for the whole day. The universe doesn't say, okay, Holly's not real happy today. Let's just turn off the law of attraction for her today so that she doesn't manifest a whole pile of shit for herself tomorrow or next month or next week. It doesn't do that. It just goes, oh, okay, Polly, you want some more shit? Here we go. Let's just pile it on. So, and this is why I say to you, when you start really actively manifesting, you are not going to get what you want, because the residual energy that you had out there that is still playing out, that's still got momentum and coming through, is still pumping out results. And so you will get results that you don't want. But you've got to then just look at them and react differently. So you've got to respond to them. And if you see something more than once in your life, then you know that it's in your paradigm. If you see it once, that could be a new creation. And if you don't like it, you know straight away that you can change it. But if you've seen it a few times, and you can look back and join some dots there, you can go, okay, this is a habit that I've got going on here. And it could be that maybe you just job hop each and you don't go up in income, or like me, just drink, get angry, beat yourself up, go a couple of days without drinking, then do that process again. That was me. Like, just ask yourself and look back. Like, you've got all the answers. You've got everything. Is this helpful? Yeah, cool. Has it brought anything up for anybody that you'd like to share? Don't be afraid here. Like, this is the most safest place you could ever have.
Hello.
Hey, Jess.
Hi. It's something that just sort of popped up. Like, I've been having a few struggles trying to decide what I want to do moving forward, like next year. Trim's at school full time and stuff, and if I need to go and get a job. But I can't come up with anything that I'm really, like, outside of doing my cows and stuff like that, that I'm really passionate about. And if I do, have to go and get a job, then I feel I'm going to struggle a lot with trying to stay on a high vibration while doing something that I don't really want to do. If it comes to the fact that I had to get one.
Hang on. Who creates your results?
I do, but
So do you want to create a place where you have to go and get another job?
no. And
Right.
I
So-
think what sort of really come up was that idea of that it's always got to come through income's always got to come through a job or something like that.
Yeah.
Is sort of where I was going with that. But yeah.
Just by the win that you shared in our group today, how much was that win worth?
Well, a bit.
No, let's put a monetary value. Just if you could just put one on, what would it be?
Oh, well, for 2 heifers at the moment, be about, say, $1,000 each. That's going minimum. And then for a bull, I think that particular bull they paid around $6,000 for.
So today you received $8,000. Did it come from a job?
No,
Did it come from you putting out certain things and being sitting at a desk or whatever you perceive as a job is?
no.
Did it come from you doing things that create joy for you?
Yeah.
Isn't that where money comes from? From us
Yeah.
creating joy? Like real money. You can go and work for a job and that is the way most it's not the funnest thing to do, just working for the sake of money. When you are doing what is in your heart and your bliss, the money will just come in all sorts of places. And that's why I say, open the doors and the windows and let it come in. Just look after yourself and be fucking happy. Like really be happy. And you know what we talked about today, if you start taking action differently, you're going to create a bigger role for yourself. There's going to be more work for you to do there. And then the money will really start to, because you'll start coming up with ideas. They're like, oh, we could be doing this and we can do that. And I can actually call people and like make some time. You block out some time for there. You start getting into sales. Like, okay, I'm just working out the schedule for next year. Do you want a spot? This is the spots that we've got open. Like you could get really productive there and just be kick ass. And then that's a great thing that you can go and take to the bank and say, hey, we've got these bookings and we've got these that are people here asking for this. We need this. Can you help us out there? And you've got a plan.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
You got everything. You've got everything that you need. And every single one of you has got like $7 million wrapped up inside you. You just got to bring it out. And you do that by having some fun, doing the things that like spark joy in you and helping other people. The biggest thing, like, so you're helping somebody else get what they want and they are giving you money. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So the fastest way to get ahead and get to your goal is to help somebody else reach theirs. The quickest way. So I always ask my staff, like, what's your goal? How can we help you there? Like they fill out these, like the 3 most important questions and we have them on the back door. So it's like you get people to tell you what they want. You help them get there. It's living.
Yeah.
Helped?
Yeah, thank you.
You're not going to need a job next year.
No.
Yeah. So remember what I did at Nutrien too? It was like you create your own position. What do you want your position to be? What work do you want to be? Like the job description doesn't come from a company. You might align with one and go, oh yeah, okay, that one sounds like me. You can create your own and then you write the income that you want to create and you write your responsibilities. You just get clear on the job that you want to create and you will manifest it into your life. And if it's not something that you want to be outside, you just write in there what your daily tasks are and then you just start doing them. You will manifest it.
Yeah.
Cool. How exciting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. I realized in the training how easily my youngest daughter manifesting. Oh my God, kids are so cool at this. And like I taught my son, or I taught all my kids anyway, when I first like you got to visualize it and then you got to feel like you've already got it. And then you're just going to you'll bring it in. So I never let televisions in my kids' rooms when they're growing up. It's like, nope, no TVs. And then like my son comes to me and he says, so Mum, I've visualized it. I know exactly where it's going to go. I can see it and I can hear it and I feel like it's already there, and I've done all the work that you've told me to do. And there's a TV upstairs in the smoko room that nobody's using. Can I please take it and put it in my room? And I thought, you little bugger. Like, and he did. Like, we actually wrapped it up and gave it to him as a present. He was like, "Ah." But like, that's all you have to do is know exactly what you want, and don't worry about the how. Just know that because I am definite on what I want, and I'm so clear on what I want, that I can have anything. And kids are so good at this. They are so good at it. Like, even this kid, I went away when I was overseas. He decided he wasn't going to go to work anymore. I was like, okay, righto. You need to figure out how to get yourself some money. He went and did a tax return, doesn't realize that he's part of a trust, so he might even get a bill now. But anyway, they will find a way. They, like, kids are just like, oh, I need money. Where would that be? Where would it be if I had the money? Oh, there you go. There it is. Irene.
Hey, how you going? I made it, yay. Late, sorry, but I just, sorry if you've covered this in the first 20 minutes or however long I've missed, but Jess is gonna laugh because Jess and I have been messaging today, and I've been throwing some things at her, and I just, how do you squash that paradigm of, I've got it in the back of my head, you know, like, and you all know, like, I've decided I want to do TIR. Like, it's, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be sold to me. I'm there. I've made that decision, and I just can't get the other stuff. And you have this in the back of my head, you know, we all grow up with money doesn't grow on trees. I can't do that. You know, I haven't got it. And, you know, oh, what's the other one? I think I said to Jess, yeah, money doesn't grow on trees. And it's just like, I've got a bit of a negative Nancy partner who's the most hardworking man you've ever met. But if we've just had a big breakdown with one of the bulldozers, he's like, fuck this, it's all, you know, like, what next? And then something else broke down. And then something else broke down. And I said to him, well, you put that out there. Stop thinking like that, you know. And then so how do you, when you're with someone like that, try and change them without it sucking the life out of you?
You just write it. I'm just so happy and grateful now that my husband supports me now. First of all, the first thing that you said, that you are going to do TIR, there's your first big problem. I am doing TIR with Polly and her team, and Jess is my limitless lady. I've already chosen, you know. Yeah. So just know that talk, though, that I am going to, which came out of your mouth, is what is the paradigm that's in there. So it's a far away thing. It's not now. But that's the first thing that you have to get into repetition, or just come from, like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it now. And that's just it. You have to take action. I suggest you go back and watch the beginning of this Zoom, because I did share a video of Bob's in there as well, but there was a lot of good stuff right in the beginning as well when I was talking. But like, all I think about is, do I believe in the laws of the universe to back me up if I align with my goal? So if my goal was to become a PGI consultant, I didn't know, like, Craig is the one, like, the shares and stuff might be in my name, but I don't even look at them. They're all his, because they were in my name, because I was the one that wasn't working when he set them all up, because I was at home with the kids. So I'd already decided. I said, okay, I'm going to become a consultant. And, like, it took me 3 days to tell him. I sat there and I was just like, okay. And so I decided I'm going to be thinking into as like a Bob Proctor consultant. He's like, okay, how much is that? I said, I have no idea. He's like, all right, okay. And because he'd watched all of that stuff with me, breakfast and dinner time, it was just like, okay, you'll manifest it. And it's that absolute belief, whatever you want, you will manifest it, as long as you stay true to the feeling of it.
And that's what I already have it. I need to get into really feeling it. Like, it's one thing just to write it, to get it down on paper, but really tap into the feeling.
Yep. So with your bulldozer and stuff that broke down, what's good about it?
Ted can fix it and we don't have to hire a mechanic.
Well, that's pretty
It's
awesome.
fixed, it's back out there, and we were driving home Sunday night and I said, see, it's all good. It's going. He did 2 hours pushing on it. It's going perfect. Everything's working out. It's gonna not be a problem anymore.
Yep. Okay. So now the next question I have is, do you have the first payment?
I'm getting there.
In
I've got to
anything,
do it.
like, do you have it in your business or anything? And like,
Yeah.
I want you to think this. So if that tractor had have cost you $10,000 to get it fixed, would you have paid that money?
Well, we have 30 because if it's not working, it's not earning money.
So I want you to think about you as a machine, because if you are not working properly, you are holding yourself away from letting that money and everything that you want just flow through you.
Yeah.
And that's what I look at myself like. My body is a machine. There is a spiritual being that lives inside me and that can channel and bring in thoughts that are of a higher vibration of where I live. As long as I can create a goal bigger than the space that I live in. Like, I just think of this square that I'm in, that's my living place. If I have a goal in there, my paradigm's in control, and yeah, I'll probably lose inspiration because I don't have to change anything. I put my goal way out of there, then I have to think outside of there. And the only way that I'm going to think outside of there is to stay in harmony with it. So I write it, I read it, I listen to it, I do everything that I can to put myself in that place that I already have it. So when I was manifesting the money for that cruise, I was hanging my washing out and I could feel the breeze of the boat. I could see myself sunbaking on beaches that I didn't even know what they looked like. And I had, like, when I cut out all those things of that cruise and stuck it all in that book for Craig, that was like 4 hours. You think 4 hours of, like, when you break it down to 17 seconds, that was a huge amount of work energetically. So 17 seconds creates another, like, attracts another like-minded thought. So when people start to think of one negative thing and they stay there for a bit, it's so fast that next thought, like, they just skyrocket. And you can create a whole scenario for the next 50 years if you wanted to with your imagination. That's where we've just got to go stop. Lisa sent me a text the other day, and we've done WildFit, and I said, like, if something feels yucky when you eat it, do you keep eating it? And we know that the answer is no. If it tastes yuck and it feels yuck, we don't eat it. But we seem to just keep thinking thoughts that feel yucky. So we have to stop thinking those thoughts. So when your husband is going like this, like, I don't tell my husband my goals anymore. Well, I do actually now. Sorry, there was a part there I never told him, because when I first started, he realized the work. So, but he sort of didn't. So I started in May. I started taking clients on the 1st of July and opened my business. And I started with 5 clients. My goal was to get to 15. And I got to 17. But in that same time, I had to write a synopsis on every single lesson and send them off. Now, I had a year to do my training. I decided, no, I was going to get it done before I went to the training. So the training was in September, live in LA, and I wanted to get my certificate on stage. That's my goal, right? I could see myself up there, Bob shaking my hand, Sandy being there, me getting my certificate. So that drove my actions. So I would be up at 10 till 10 o'clock at night, just like getting this stuff. Like, it's all well and good to watch it, but we have to actually get it. It has to become part of us, like that knowingness, like our name. So I would just watch and watch and watch and watch. And then I'd write a synopsis, and then I'd send that one off, and then do the next one. You had to do videos and all these sorts of things but so he saw all of that work as me manifesting in 15 people. So then when my next goal was get 50 people in the next 6 months, he was like, oh my God, how the hell are you going to do that? That's going to take you, like, we're never going to see you because you're always going to be in there, and that's going to take so much work. And how are you going to do the workshop? And I'm just like, oh my shit and God, I don't know. So I thought, and I didn't sign a client for 3 months after that. And I thought, oh, I took on Craig's belief. I took on Craig's belief that this is going to be hard work and this is going to be this, this, and this. And I thought, okay, right. I can't tell him anymore. I can't tell him anymore until he understands how this actually works. So your belief doesn't have to be in you. Your belief has to be in the universe and the laws that govern it. Nobody blinks twice. If you drop your phone or your phone falls out of your pocket or falls out of your bag, you just know that it's going to drop on the ground. There's no doubt. And that's what you have to have about the laws of the universe. You just have to know that they are going to give me exactly what I want or exactly what I think, feel, and act. And it's going to just mirror it back to me. So I've got to be really careful on what I think about. And I've got it because I'm getting really fucking good at this. So you really then have to discipline your thinking, and you have to always be like staying in the high vibrational feeling zone, and then only act when you're feeling good. Because if you take action when you're not feeling good, chances are you're not going to get a good result. Did that answer your question, Irene?
Yeah, and I realized that I've just took on his paradigm the other day, like, and we took the bulldozer out, and you know, and then this morning, and he's like, righto, I'm off to the other job, and I'll be back if that because that friggin' thing will break down. And then the phone rang from the school, and I immediately thought something bad and thought, oh, what now? You know, like, and I did stop myself and shut up and see what it's about. And it was nothing bad, you know, but it's that those monkeys on the shoulders. Yeah.
Well, it's that expectation that there's got to be a negative thing, hey?
Yeah.
You know what I always say to people, like, and Bob always says, like, just jump, you'll grow wings on the way. Like, just do it. Like, yeah, whatever it is that you're going after, whatever your goal is. And I don't know, I just think I come from the place that everybody's got the money in their bank account. The only thing that is stopping them is a bit of fear, maybe, of like, how am I going to get all this done? How am I going to fit this in? Like the questions of how. And it's just like, let go of the how. Just know that it's all there because it comes from you. It doesn't come from all these other things. It comes through them, but it comes from what you put out and the belief that you have. So you put out good, like, just proves it. You put out that, put out good and help people get their goal. They just, there's got to be a return of investment there. And we're always investing. And like, so we invest with our words, we invest with our thoughts, and we invest with our feelings. And the actions are always taken care of, because if you get the thinking right, you get the feeling right, the action that you take will always be good actions. Yeah. Now, does anybody have any questions? I know we've gone over a little bit. That was Craig's paradigm. Yeah, that was Craig's paradigm. That has to be hard work, and it still is. Like, I'm still like, and this is why I have to go back and spend a bit of time in the workshop to get him out of that paradigm that, like, I just have to keep working. Like, he's got this idea that, and he grew this idea when I stopped working, when I had babies. Like, so when I started having babies, you have a bit of time off. So he's like, I've got to work so hard to keep the family going and stuff like that. So now I've got to go back and, like, I've got to retrain him. Like, honey, no, you don't have to do all this. You've got to start to act like you've got a full team, because if you keep doing all of this, I know that there's work to put out, and like, there's a bit of a thingy there, like, there's work to put out, but if you keep like thinking that, then that's what's going to be created, that's going to keep creating the moments. The adrenaline after you make the first transaction mixed with fear and regret and doubt trends to create you that money back tenfold. No kidding, not even kidding. Oh, it does. Like, and I think about Andy. She just said to Stumpy, I want to do this, and Stumpy was not happy about it. But then he said, well, if you're doing that, I'm getting a stallion. So they both got it, because she got her money back from TIR through, like, just changing the way that she looked at things and being different. And he bought his stallion with the money that she brought back in. So it's good. Like, Vicky Gardner, she was amazing. She just made this decision. I didn't even know that she was on the radar or anything. She just rang me one day and she says, all right, I'm doing this. send me the link. And I sent her the link. She says, I'm $1,500 short, but I've got a tax return coming. I said, what the hell? How did you get this money? She said, well, I went to my boss and I said, hey, boss, I'm going to do this because he wanted me to do some sort of personal development, and he gave her some money. Then she got, I don't know, something else. She got some return from somewhere, and that came in. Something else came in. Like, she got it from like 5 areas. And she said, I had no clue that they were on my radar. And I said, yeah, because all we can see is what's inside our little box and how we've received it before, and maybe how we've watched other people get it. But if we can't believe that we can get it that way, then that won't come in that way either. Like, we can see people that make $1 million an hour, but if we don't believe we can do that, we're not going to be able to. So it's always with a steady sequence of growth that we turn into the person that we want to be. And look, a lot of the women that I work with don't even tell their husbands. So I don't tell my husband many of the things that I do these days. Until I've got it in front of me, I'm like, oh, look what I just did. All right, does anybody have anything else before we do go? Because I do have another call to get to after this one. I am sorry it went over a bit, but I'm sure you got some value out of this. If any of you that haven't had a call with me would like to have a call with me, please just reach out to me. You can reach out through your Limitless Lady, or you can just reach me personally. That is also fine. And the next round does start next week, so it is a pretty quick thing. But you know, quick decisions, like you get to really see the power of your mind and how fast you can bring things in. And no worries, Kamal. And when you do make decisions and really commit to them, and don't go from the place that I don't have it just yet, because that is a place of lack. You've got to come from, I already have this, then magic starts. It really does. I'm not wearing my glasses at the moment. Who can some, the Moto G, is that Jeannie, is it? I think it is. She always says thank you. Anyway, enjoy your evening, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed Manifest, and I hope we've added something to your life so that then you can change at least 1 or 2 things or 10 things to help you get exactly what you want in life, and enjoy your life a lot more, because the more joy that you're in, the faster things are going to come to you exactly the way that you want them. All right. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here. See you all. Bye-bye.